Dun dun dun. Dun 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 dun. Ba 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 ba
Welcome to this new episode of Two Idiots Talk About F1. This episode we're going to be covering the Japanese Grand Prix, which happens in Japan.
No way.
It's crazy stuff in the Suzuka circuit. I will say that this is probably one of the more entertaining Grand Prix of the season so far. A lot has happened. But before we do that, let's maybe think about a few things that, about Japan that people might not know.
They like whales.
They love whales.
Oh, they love killing whales.
Yeah, there's a big culture of... I know they do that with dolphins as well. There's a big...
They love fish.
Yeah.
They love fish so much that they imagine themselves having sex with octopus.
Yeah, I wonder how that happened. Maybe...
I don't know. That's why they eat fish so much.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, you don't nuke a country twice. That's probably why. But okay, moving on.
Insightful. Well, I feel like that was really... that pretty much summarizes what's interesting about Japan, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot more, but I think this is what we're going to get to in this podcast. I mean, it's the level of intellect we have here, so...
It reflects the name of our podcast.
Don't expect a BBC documentary. But one thing that is important to note, though, is the Japanese fans are probably like one of the more fun and welcoming crowds in F1. If you guys have seen, if you look at the Instagram of the Formula One, there's so many fans that are just disguised in these fun things, or they have fun costumes. Like some guy had a spoiler hat type thing, or and then a umbrella with Yuki Tsunoda's car on it.
Oh, I thought you were mentioning I call it a rice hat, because it reminds me of those that are farming rice in the fields.
Yeah.
I call it a rice hat.
I think that's what it is. I'm not. I mean, they have those in Vietnam. I don't.
Wait, in French, what's the accent that you call it? C'est le
accent circonflexe.
Yeah. So when I was smaller, I would say rice hat.
Damn, I mean, it does. Yeah, it's a triangle basically.
Bro, trigonometry, Bigman stuff.
Trigonometry. Yeah. What was it? Oh yeah, you mentioned that fan. He was the one, absolute legend. He's dressed up in Red Bull jacket with the Red Bull rice hat. We'll just call it.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's but wait, and then he fucking takes it off, and it's all Aston Martin stuff. And he's like Alonso.
It kind of reminds me of I don't know if you remember, but apparently at the beginning of this year, Papa Stroll offered a hefty sum of money to Adrian Newey. Apparently that's what, and it kind of reminded me of that, pretty much Newey would just transition from Red Bull to Aston. So
yeah, we need him to do that. He has to wear a double jacket and unzip the Red Bull jacket.
Surprise, bro.
But I mean, moving on to the race itself.
One thing that I must express before anything else, I feel like it's very appropriate. It's a song. It's a melody that I have created with my vocal cords.
Yes.
Let's go. Viva España. Viva España. It's done.
It's for Carlos Sainz.
Vamos.
Carlos. Our love, mi amor.
Ever since he's been fired from Ferrari, I have gained empathy.
Yeah, I know. It's so evil of them, and yet he's outperforming Charles in every aspect. So far, he's done better. Apart from points, because he had to get surgery during that one race, so he missed one race. But if he hadn't missed that race, I think he'd be leading ahead of Charles in terms of points. Just so funny.
I bet you he could have drove from the hospital.
Yeah, in his bed.
He would have gotten more points.
He would have gone faster than the Ferrari.
Yeah.
I mean, the Ferrari it's not bad this year. We can't criticize it too much.
Well, so pretty much we've just hinted and spoiled the entirety of the race. One of the most important elements, which is SAINZ pretty much out-qualified Charles, and also, most importantly, outpaced him and eventually was P3, if I'm not mistaken, and Charles Leclerc was P4.
Yeah, exactly, which is very nice. And the funny thing with the qualifying, like Charles didn't qualify as well. He qualified P8, and the reason being Ferrari, again with their master plan strategy, decided to release him with only like 5 minutes left for Q3. So essentially, he had time to do 2 laps, one of which was like a timed lap. Obviously, it wasn't fast enough because the tires were not warm and the car was still like heavy with fuel. So another genius Ferrari strategy move.
But there was another moment during the race. I don't know if you recall this. Charles Leclerc actually, he was leading, I think, or he was in a good position, and he pretty much went way too wide, and he went in the gravel, and so. Because of that, he lost a position to Perez. Pretty much, once again, it's Ferrari plus Charles Leclerc like making soup together, which pretty much results in
cooking poison. Cooking.
Let him cook. Let him cook.
Don't let him cook. This is awful. Whatever they're making.
Don't let him cook.
Whatever they're making is awful. And later in the race as well, like Leclerc, who was in P3, basically gets overtaken by SAINZ. So SAINZ ends up being in P3.
It's painful.
And he finishes the race with like 5 seconds ahead of Leclerc, I checked, which is so funny.
Let him cook. Let him cook.
Yeah, SAINZ did very well this time. And
which, good for him.
Yeah, no, honestly, he needs a seat. I'm surprised he still doesn't have one.
From our last episode, apparently it's getting more and more confirmed that Audi should sign SAINZ.
Yeah.
But the issue is that they would like be a 1 year gap between this season and 2026.
Yeah, if he needs to join Kick Steak Ben 10 team, I don't think that's
highlighter.
The highlighter team. I don't think it's the smartest for him. I don't know.
No, good point.
It's also like because Mercedes have an opportunity, even though Mercedes is absolutely awful right now. They have an opportunity. There's a lot of choice. The driver market next year is going to be very interesting. There's so much like variation.
Wait, who doesn't have a seat though? Mercedes is missing one driver.
Yeah.
Williams today. Albon is probably still going to drive for them.
I don't know. I don't know if Albon's going to still drive for them. Well, Sargent maybe, but
no, his contract. No, Logan. His contract is till the end of the season. And Lewis Paddington. Oh, that's Kevin. We need to talk about that though.
What? Lewis?
So Puis.
Yeah. Okay.
Puis Hamilton.
Yeah.
So he qualified P9 because it was P9.
No, P7.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
Yeah.
But so qualification was, like pretty much.
Yeah, not great.
Even Puis Hamilton, which is gonna get a 100 million deal with Ferrari.
Yeah.
Told his teammate to pretty much pass him
because
he was having so much difficulty driving the car.
I think Lewis has already given up, with Mercedes, like so early on into the season, because he knows he's going to Ferrari, obviously, like you said. But
100 million, Kevin.
Yeah, I know it's a lot of money. And,
what would you do?
I'd buy like 100 million tin cans of mackerel.
Tuna.
They're $1 each here, and I love that stuff. So
damn.
Yeah, man, loaded in mackerel.
Oh, you go to the Tesco Extra, right?
The mega Tesco.
The mega Tesco.
Yeah. But no, back to the race. They had to switch positions during the race. And Hamilton also finishes the race P7 again. And like I saw in the post-race reactions, he was very vocal again about the car's performance, being like, "Yeah, look, I mean, I did my best, but honestly, the car is bad." That's basically what he said.
Crap.
So yeah, no, he's given up. He's moving on at this point.
I feel like right now Ferrari is regretting.
I don't know because
Like,
it's
been
Hamilton.
it's
It's Hamilton. That's the thing.
yeah, but since they signed and fired pretty much Sainz has been winning pretty much
Yeah, I know.
every
Yeah,
single race.
he's been on the podium every single race he's been in so far. Like so, it's very impressive.
Apart from the time that he got like a weird infection in the stomach.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know what Ferrari are gonna do about it. Honestly.
No, that's it's kind of disappointing, like what's happening in Williams.
Mm-hmm.
I've got it from a really reliable source,
Oh yeah.
aka the team principal.
Oh
Apparently,
yeah. Okay.
the drivers are having a intern competition between who can destroy the most chassis. Okay,
Chassis.
so as of right now, it would seem that Albon is currently leading the competition 1-0. However, Logan Sargent almost tied.
Yeah, no, they've been doing pretty well on damage.
No,
Even like if FP1 is when Logan like throws his car into the wall.
but like hard intercourse lines, like it's really hard. Like he goes straight.
He couldn't even race in FP2. He had to sit it out. Because they had to fix the car. And the funny thing is that qualifying, he just qualifies P19. So again, not much performance there.
Should they fix the car or not? I don't know.
Who knows? I wonder if they have enough spare parts after this. Honestly, like I feel like they're gonna start running out. Like this is costing them a lot of money.
Do you have their Excel?
I don't have their Excel spreadsheet, but I hear it's quite well organized.
It's quite big. It's thick.
Very thick with 2 C's.
Oh, Kevin, another thing that we need to discuss about,
Oh, yeah.
because since we're talking about Williams,
Mm-hmm.
there was a crash.
Yeah,
The race
there was
during-
a crash.
I think it was like turn 1 or turn
Literally
2.
after turn 1, yeah, and that's where Albon basically topped up the damage cost award. But yeah, no, there was a crash between Albon and Daniel Ricciardo, the honey badger.
Grit.
Real sweat. But
We sweat. Pro athlete.
the in his Red Bull Visa Cash App, MasterCard, American Express, PayPal, HSBC card. I don't really know. Like people are, I think, still debating whose fault it was. Some are saying like, because it's not very clear. Like the way you see it, it's like Ricardo moves in on Albon, and then they crash. But then there's people saying like, well, the only reason Ricardo was moving in is because there's a car coming in from behind him, or because he has to move there because it's the racing line in order to get a better
for
exit,
me it was
something like that.
Yeah, for me it was the second explanation,
Yeah.
which I mean seems the most coherent with what actually happened. Is he knew that Albon was on his right, but to get a good, to follow the racing line, he had to go to the right. So pretty much, eventually, it would have happened.
Yeah, so it was a bit Albon's fault, and in that case, he went for a risky dive.
Which is once again really disappointing, considering the fact that apparently the regime, which is AKA everyone who's German, sorry, what I mean is Helmut Marko,
yes.
apparently,
Isn't
not Toto.
he Austrian? I don't know.
I feel like we had this discussion.
We might have had. Guys, check out our previous episodes where we probably have discussion.
It's incredible. It's incredible.
Incredible for us.
What I meant is, apparently the regime posed an ultimatum on Ricardo, pretty much saying if you don't improve your performances, you're pretty much getting sacked.
Yeah.
Which is once again disappointing since he qualified quite good.
Yeah.
He was like P11 and Yuki was P10.
Yeah.
So he was catching up, and the race limited his ability to demonstrate his potential.
Yeah, but I think Ricardo was very selfless in this race, playing for the team, because by taking himself out, he enabled Tsunoda to have his points win in his home race. You know, it's so selfless of him. I think
I like your vision.
I think Helmut should appreciate that from Ricardo.
I feel like being Helmut and how like short-sighted he is,
Yeah.
I feel like he's probably not gonna have
Okay.
the same vision as you.
Oh, damn it. Maybe I should be Helmut. I'll be more forgiving.
You should send him a memo though,
Yeah, I'll send him a note.
like a fax.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he probably has a fax machine.
Yeah. Apparently he knows how to use Google Drive though, so
Okay.
I mean,
Maybe we'll send him a little...
we can like a folder, like near his Christian horny files.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like, I don't know, it's tough for Ricardo. And I actually, even before the race, FP1, Ricardo didn't race in FP1. They had like another Japanese driver come in to do tests on the car. Maybe it's like a premature sign that they're like, I don't think so, Ricardo. But this is like, we all know this is kind of officially basically the start of the end of Ricardo's career. Like, everyone's been saying that, like, all comments everywhere, like on YouTube, on Instagram. It
hurts.
The feeling. No, it definitely hurts. It's very sad because he's very loved. But yeah.
I feel like, it's like a self-realizing prophecy if we say it's the end.
Okay.
When it's not the end. So I feel like, Kevin, we should have a bit more hopes up attitude, saying that it's a new beginning.
It's a new beginning.
a new beginning outside of F1.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll do NASCAR. Yeah. Actually,
like what's his name? Our French compatriot.
Grosjean did.
Exactly.
He did IndyCar.
Well, he's in IndyCar, right?
IndyCar,
Yeah,
yeah.
good point.
But yeah, I mean, if we stay on the Red Bull, Visa, Cash App, Mastercard, American Express, PayPal,
financial institutions,
HSBC team, Tsunoda actually did very, very well this race. It was really impressive. I don't know if you remember he had like really good overtakes in the race. So especially
on the outside, no?
Yeah. On the outside,
Yeah.
like in one of the turns, really impressive stuff on Gasly,
No, definitely.
and then on Hulkenberg as well. But I think the most impressive was the pit stop that the RB team did. They basically, in like 5 cars go into the pits at the same time, essentially, and thanks to like a really quick pit stop, he comes out in front, essentially like gaining like 2 or 3 positions. So yeah, no, honestly, like, well done to RB on that one. It's really impressive, and on his home race, so it's just a very good feeling for Tsunoda.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's true. It's definitely true,
Yeah.
and I think that that was a subject where some teams, I mean, in the post-race interviews, some drivers criticized their teams. I think it was Guan Yu Zhou that once again had a problem with the pit stop.
I don't know. Yeah, he retired the car because of a gearbox issue. That's what he said.
Yeah, at this point,
yeah, I know.
they have so many issues.
I know.
I feel like for instance, you say that Lewis Hamilton has pretty much thrown the sponge or thrown his fate.
Given up, yeah.
Given up from Mercedes, but I feel like the stake team, since they know that they've been pretty much purchased by Audi.
Yeah, they've completely given up.
Yeah, yeah. There's no reason why to continue.
Yeah, literally, it's sad. One other thing with poor performance. I don't know if you saw this one kind of excerpt from Stroll's radio, where on one of the straights he goes like with like a little chicken voice. He goes like, "Guys, the car is so slow on the straights. I literally don't understand. It's in a different category." He says this. He qualifies P16. Alonso qualifies P5. Okay. Point number 1.
Sigma.
Point number 2. Stroll finishes the race P12, but Alonso finishes the race P6. So I think Stroll has nothing to say here. It's just a skill issue.
It is. He really sucks.
Aston Martin should be renamed like Alonso team or Alonso Martin. I don't know.
Giga. Sigma. Well, it's like last season, right? So last season, pretty much like 3/4 of the points were Alonso's points.
Well, I think it's
And
going to be the same this season. To be completely honest, he's always in the back.
yeah, but it's so depressing
I
because they
know, I
have so
know.
much potential. But since since the father is so obsessed with his son winning, he's blinded by the fact that his son actually sucks.
No, I think he knows it. I think he just wants to give him as many chances as he can because he's a dad. You know.
Yeah, but he's before being a dad, I feel like he's a businessman.
True.
hmm Lawrence Stroll arrives in 3 minutes. Oh, guys, quick!
Guys, he's here. He's here.
He's here! Quick, quick, quick!
That's a reference to Drive to Survive for those that don't know. Check it out.
It's a good series, especially this season, which was crusty.
Speaking of crusty Alpine, you know,
The French compatriots in my
our
heart.
fellow compatriots have been performing as they have since the start of the year. Not great. Tractor edition, you know. But I think another funny thing is which was that Ocon, just like the last race, he got so ecstatic for getting into Q2.
Oh, he was.
Yeah, he was
He
so happy. He's like,
was.
oh my god, guys, yes!
Mm.
Oh, Q2! And then, and then in the post-race interview, he was very honest after qualifying. He was like, we need to pray for points in the race, which I thought was so funny.
There was also something that sort of like incident that happens at the beginning of the race. It was a sort of like contact between Esteban and Gasly, where pretty much Gasly pushed Esteban Ocon to the left. It kind of reminded me like of a scene where I had PTSD of Melbourne last year, where they like both cars just pretty much smashed into each other, and pretty much like they're both DNF when
Yeah.
they were at least like top five, no?
Yeah, no,
Like
they
were in
they were
really
high
good
up,
position.
but yeah, though they like melted into the wall together. Great team effort, you know. But this one was fine. It was a bit safer. I mean, Gasly was going for overtakes, and he gained like I think 3 positions in that start. But I'm not surprised either.
It was still a bit disappointing since Gasly underperformed his teammate because he was like 17 for
Yeah.
16th
Exactly.
in the race, so a bit disappointing.
Yeah, very sad. You know something else that's slightly disappointing.
Yeah.
Now that Verstappen has his car back and it is not DNF, you know, we had the Red Bull 1-2 again. Looks like they're gonna be winning the rest of the season.
No way. What makes you say that,
I
Kim?
don't know, man. I mean, we said this in the previous episode as well. Like, it's just, yeah, they're just dominating. And
No, but like it's impossible.
I know it's impossible.
impossible.
I mean, Toto said they're in another galaxy as well. Like, he's like, no way. I mean, I mean, Mercedes are also in another galaxy, with a bad one, but yeah. Perez, he's actually pretty close to Verstappen now in terms of pace, so maybe
Yeah.
he might have a chance of staying in. Yeah, I think as long as they're just gonna want him to support Verstappen. Which, you know, I don't know how Perez feels about that. He probably hates it.
Playing the team game.
Yeah, exactly. But they were both very good in qualifying, like very close. I think like 600ths of a second.
It was like 6 or 3 hundredths of a second.
Yeah, it was
It
very, very
was close.
close.
It was close. It was close.
At the end of the race, the issue is also race pace for Perez. Like Max was like 12 seconds ahead of Perez.
Yep.
So not great. But then again, Perez was 8 seconds ahead of Sainz, so very much still massive advantage over the other cars.
No, I completely agree with you. And for me, the only threat would be from inside the team. So we've seen weaknesses, some sites of cracks, within the cohesion.
From the regime, as you say.
Yeah, exactly. So with like horny Christian,
Yeah.
there's like Helmut, the regime.
Yeah.
There's Jos Verstappen, which I mean has a significant voice and influence. And also another important fact to act is there's some sort of like outside dynamic between the shareholders, which there's like the Austrian part and the Thai part, yeah. And so there's kind of like some sort of like battle for power,
Yeah.
which can cost the team pretty much the championship.
No, yeah. There's the only threat they have is like the team imploding on itself.
No, it's not
All
exactly.
this because Mr. Horny decided to do some naughty things.
Not horny police. Boink boink.
Naughty, naughty. But yeah, that's so funny that it might come to that. But for now, it seems to have died down a bit. I think that's what they want anyway, for it to calm down. But, you know,
Yeah,
on this podcast, on Two Idiots Talk About F1, we won't let this thing die down.
No.
We'll remind you guys every single
This
podcast.
is real journalism.
This is proper journalism, okay? So, yeah, stay tuned for more.
I don't know if we talked about this, but during, I think it was the Grand Prix in like Australia or the one before, Max went to bed at 4 a.m. He was playing like what is it called, like e-racing, and he won the race. Like he's like it's like a side quest for him.
I know, it's so funny. You know, Formula One is training for his eSIM. That's where his real career is at.
No, it's like oh yeah, good point. I forgot I had a race tomorrow.
It's like even like yesterday when they won the race, he was just like, oh yeah. Well done to the team. You know, I think we could have done better. Not my best performance.
Let's look at the data.
Let's look at the data. It's funny as well. Like he's so into the eSIM stuff. Like, he neglects his stepchild. He neglects Penelope, and you see this as well in I sent you this.
Like the video where yeah.
The video where he's on the podium smiling at the crowd, and then Penelope is like, "Oh, Max, yay!" It's Max, so cute. Yay. And then he's just not looking at her. He's just
like he only selected like today Piquet for like mating. And after like distress, and after it was just like eSIM.
Maybe to get back at Kvyat. I don't know for what, but
bro, Kvyat, I think he's like, we haven't heard from him because like he's suicidal right now.
He has to be so mad. That's his daughter as well, and she's like, "Oh, Max," and Max is just not giving her attention. I think maybe he's doing this on purpose. Maybe it's like some reverse psychology, like.
Yeah, but it's not working then.
No, it's not working. It's not working very well.
It's actually quite counterproductive, considering the fact that it would seem that since Max is dating her, he has only gotten better. So I mean, is there a trick?
I don't know.
Is this witchcraft?
Maybe.
Brazilian witchcraft.
He's got something up his sleeve. I'm not surprised, you know, with how Max likes to share about his traumatic childhood, that there may be some emotional torment.
Yeah. My father never told me I would be able. My father told me I was a bit, I cannot say it here, but autistic.
Yeah, and he left me at a gas station once. Like,
man, that's... Hey, I'm gonna do the same thing to my kids. Project Verstappen.
Exactly.
Make them cry. Don't talk to them for a week because they failed.
Yeah, no, I think that's the way to do it.
I feel like I should test this.
Yeah. Oh, you'll have to update me on that then. Update us.
We'll definitely do.
But yeah,
I'll do it for my dog.
Okay. Yeah,
it can bring interesting effects, you know, like there's like the F1 Academy for women.
Yeah.
I feel like that's discrimination because there's not one for dogs. So like, I mean,
yeah.
Or even like reptiles.
I
like,
didn't know dogs or reptiles could drive.
Hey, the more you grow, the more you learn. I mean,
oh my god.
I mean, the Zuck is a reptile, so I mean that's
True.
pretty much discrimination for the Zuck, you know.
True. I'm sure he's struggling. I'm sure he's feeling very discriminated.
When did you see the video of like Diana White where he's like, "Do you you want to oil me up?"
What does that mean?
No, but like there was another moment where like the Zuck was having like a sort of like a Facebook Live moment, and he was like reading the comments like, "You give me the Zuck." He was like,
someone,
"What does it mean?"
Could someone let me know in chat, please? Thank you.
What's the Zuck?
The Zuck. Give me the Zuck.
Zuck.
We need something like that in F1.
Yeah, a reptile.
A reptile. Actually, who would be a reptile in F1?
Maybe Max.
Max is probably a reptile. No, he's shown human characteristics.
Which?
Trauma.
No, but like we discussed about this. Like it was like Esteban Ocon has pretty much like I mean, he has financial trauma. He had financial trauma. So it was like not like emotional trauma
Hmm.
like Max, but it was like financial trauma. But the results are not the same.
Yeah.
There's like a really good interview where I think it's in French or in English. No, it's in English.
There's also a
Where
podcast where he answers these questions. It's very
yeah,
nice.
and he talks about how like his family were really modest
Yeah.
and followed him even though they didn't have a sense. So he was like forced to succeed.
Yeah.
It's quite traumatic.
Yeah, no, different type of trauma. I mean, they have to sacrifice a lot to get into F1, so, you know.
Like the Zuck, he had to sacrifice his hair.
And his human empathy.
Drink water. I'm making reference to it was like the Senate hearings. Like, drink water, smile.
Processing. But I think this summarizes the Japanese Grand Prix
Yeah,
quite
it
well.
does. Diana White, the Zuck, Max Verstappen having PTSD
Yeah,
from his
yeah.
father,
And
Danny Kvyat. Pretty much, yeah, that sums it.
exactly.
Yeah, that sums
You
it.
know, I want to say, my condolences to Ricardo and his career, because we all know it's basically over.
F in the chat. F in the chat, fam. Why F?
It's because it's in one of the games.
Isn't it more like oh no, I remember. Okay,
No, it's because it's a key, like in the game they have to press to pay
But I was like,
respects.
yeah, but I was like, why wasn't it like R though? Because like R for
I think
respect.
because F is next to D in the WSD. So.
Bro, are you a game developer?
I mean, I would have put E, because that's more convenient, but that's
Or
just
X.
my opinion. Or X, press X to doubt, but that's for controller users. We don't respect controller users.
Xbox. No, that's actually PS4. No, I mean PS4 is okay. Xbox is a bit sus.
So yeah, if you're a console player,
suck.
You can leave the podcast now. We don't want you.
No, we're kidding, please.
No, guys, please stay. We need subscribers. Well, I think we should put an end to this now then.
Do you?
Yeah, I think this was a very good Grand Prix.
Damn. Yeah, it's gonna be long. It's gonna be intense. Wait, which is the next Grand Prix?
Shanghai. It is
Zhongguo?
Shanghai. It's in this next week. So look forward.
Bro, so now we have to do the
Oh,
editing,
no,
bro.
it's the week after.
No, wait, let me tell you, I have this on my calendar. Like I'm such a bad boy.
Yeah.
It's the 21st.
So in 2 weeks time, the
Zhongguo Grand Prix.
Oh, we'll have some very fun facts about China for this one.
Bro, human rights.
What? So
Uyghur.
stay. Okay, no, we'll keep it for that episode. But yeah, we hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Thanks for joining us.
We tried to do like a more like laid back approach, which I feel like went pretty well.
Yeah. Alles gut is very well.
Alles goed?
It's Gozeller.
So, Gozeller.
Yeah, but we hope you guys really enjoyed this one, and we'll probably catch you guys in about 2 weeks' time.
See you soon.
See you very soon. All right. Take care, guys.
Woof woof.
Dun dun dun. Dun 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 dun. Ba 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 ba